I'm presenting what's called Author Spotlight, where every week I would like to spotlight a independent author. And so tonight I am talking to Miss, is it Jodaea?
Exactly.
Okay, I'm glad I said that right. And so could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your books?
Okay, well, like you said, my name is Jodaea Minor White. I'm an RN by trade. Mostly I've done emergency rooms, working with wounded veterans, a little bit of psych nursing, a lot of hospice, and right now I'm doing rehab nursing. And in my off days, I am Jodaea, a fictional author of cautionary tales. I have self-published 2 books, Sunday Christians and Careful What You Pray For, and I'm working on a 3rd literary work right now that has yet to be named. Sunday Christians is an unorthodox look at the church from the congregational side as opposed to the preaching side of the pulpit, where most books and television shows and movies focus on the politics of running a mega church and the backdoor deals and what the first family goes through. Sunday Christians, it takes a look at it through the eyes of 2 unlikely couples and what they go through as far as their views on the church and relationships. And Careful What You Pray For takes an in-depth look at mental health and how people sometimes abuse their authority when they are in positions of integrity and power, and how they abuse that power for their own self-serving purposes. It also takes a look at mental illness in the Black community, because there are a lot of us that walk around with PTSD and we don't even know it. You don't necessarily have to be a wartime veteran to go through any type of PTSD. And I think the stress of just being Black in America holds its own in itself. But with this new society that we're in, we do walk around with a lot of PTSD and we don't know it until we're placed in a high stress situation.
That sounds really good, especially being someone who goes to Black churches. I definitely agree that those are issues that need to be talked about. What inspired your books?
Sunday Christians actually is, how can I say? My brothers, I have 5 brothers and 10 uncles, and just watching what men go through in relationships. And some of my characters are based on the women they brought home, good, bad, and different, and their view of relationships, and how there's that old saying, if you want a good woman, you find a good woman in church. Well, that's not necessarily the case here. And so Sunday Christians, that's why I say Sunday Christians is not a Christian book per se, but it does speak on the Christian values that we've been raised with over time.
Okay.
And then that's just being in the Black community, being from, having those Southern ancestors that instill that, those values in us, and how they differ in today's society.
Oh, wow. It sounds so good. So how could someone who's listening get a hold to either of these books?
They can go to novelsbyjodea.com and then click on, in the navigation bar, the NBJ bookstore.
Okay.
And we take all forms of payment. I mean, you can get the address, which is on the top in the title on the home page. P.O. Box 3376, South Crater Road, Petersburg, Virginia, 23805. We take all forms of payment. We prefer not to take cash unless we're in person at a function, but we have Cash App. It's $Novels by Jodaea. We do PayPal. We take money orders, checks. If you want to do it by snail mail, you can do that. You can send me an email. Yeah, you can send me an email, send a check, and then we can do it this way. You have some people that just don't want to get on the information superhighway. And me particularly speaking as one that has had my identity stolen.
Wow.
A couple of times. Yeah. I was a little hesitant, putting that credit card number out there.
Yeah.
So we take off. Or like I said, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, we can do that. Like I said, we have PayPal. We have, let's see, the link is once you click on, in the bookstore, you can just click on the book and it'll take you to all the links. But if not, you can do it the old-fashioned way. Shoot us an email, put in your order. When we receive the payment, we'll mail it back to you.
Okay. So then tell me, so what was one of the toughest challenges, or, I mean, good or bad, what was one of the challenges that you faced in becoming an author?
Realizing that everybody whose team I was on was not on my team. I helped a lot of people in achieving their dreams and goals, and then when I thought that, it would be reciprocated when it was me. And it was a hard pill to swallow when I realized it wasn't. The further I go in this business, the smaller my circle is becoming. I'm noticing. And it's hurtful, but it's good because you start to see the people that you didn't know were on your team the whole time, that they're actually coming out and stepping up and encouraging you. But it just hurts a little. It's a hard pill to swallow when the one that you've put in work with, they're not there to reciprocate, or not necessarily reciprocate, or just to be there, or to say, hey, good job, or hey, I'm so happy for you. Yeah. So that's a hard pill to swallow. And I think once you get over that and you realize that everybody's not going to be happy to see you winning or see you coming into your season, you can maneuver better. It won't hurt as much. Eventually you'll toughen up. But that was the main thing that I had to learn.
Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. So that leads to actually my next question is, so what tips do you have then for authors who are trying to balance their writing career, their job, and their relationships, and just their overall goals? I know earlier we were talking and you said that you're married and you're an RN and you're writing and you have children. And so how do you balance those things?
You have to prioritize. The first thing about getting into this field is you have to decide, is this what I want for a career, or is this just going to be a hobby, or is it just something I'm challenging myself to do to see if I can do it? So once you put that, now if you say you want it for a career, that's at the top of your list. So you have to prioritize your time, prioritize your goal, and really prioritize your relationships. Like your marriage, that's something, like me being married, that's something I really want. But my husband and I, we know that we're on each other's team. Whatever he wants, I want for him. Whatever I want, he wants for me. So you don't want to lose yourself or your marriage or your family, putting your ambition first. Some people are willing to sacrifice that. I'm not one of them. So you have to be present in your relationships, but you can't lose yourself in them. You have to set aside time. Just like people set aside time to go to this party, to go to the club, to turn up. You got to set that same time aside. This is my time to write. This is my me time. This is my family time. This is my work time. And stick to you. It's got to have a schedule. Like today, I'm going to write. I'm not making any plans to do anything. I'm going in this office. I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to write. Every now and again, my husband will tap on the door. He may bring me something to drink, or you need something to eat. You've been in here for 8 hours. That type of thing. So it's just understanding where some relationships may have to end.
Yeah.
Because we don't realize until we're put into those situations, some of our friendships really are one-sided associations. When we talk about friends, and even in families. So we have to see how much of our time is taken up with that and solving other people's problems and not leaving any time for ourselves. So you have to, like I said, you have to put your relationships in order. Is this a relationship that's high on my list? Is it a relationship worth being high on my list? Where do I want to be with my writing? What kind of job do I have that's going to accommodate my writing? I've had to find another job. I can't do the 9 to 5 anymore. I need more days available, so I'd rather go ahead and work my 3 12-hour shifts and have 4 days left in the week to accommodate, like you said, my other goals and relationships and priorities.
Oh, wow. That's good. So it sounds like I might need to become a nurse or something where I could just...
But it's just in prioritizing and doing what's right for you. But a lot of times people are scared to leave that safety net of that bi-weekly check or this schedule, scared to step out of their comfort zone because it's easy to jump out and do something when you don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
But to start another career in the midst of your main career that you've gone to school for, spent money for, have school loans to pay back, it's kind of a big risk. And some people are scared to step out and do it. Yeah. But you got to step out on faith. If it's something for you and you pray and God has it for you, he gives his worshipers the desires of their heart, you got to step out on faith.
Wow, that's a word for me. That sounds good. Yeah, I'm someone who, Win Publications is my dream. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I enjoy it. This is my dream career. Actually, it's funny. Tomorrow, September 27th, will be my 1 year anniversary from when I quit my 9 to 5 and took Win Publications on for almost a whole year and just did that. I'm so grateful because I had a chance to taste that freedom that so many people desire to work from home. I'm also I'm a single mom, and so I had some time where I could be more involved in my daughter's life and in her school things, and we were able to do more. But one of the things that brought me back to a 9 to 5 was just the money situation, the financial situation. But I said, I have no shame. I have no regrets. I'm glad that I did step out and risked it all. I mean, a lot of things happened between then and now, but I think this time going around, I've budgeted in my business to where part of my check is going to pay for some of my bills that I have with my business, to grow, to expand, to be able to hire, 1 or 2 people a month to help me with some things for my business and things like that. And so definitely, just to anybody listening who's thinking, well, I can't really quit my job yet, that's okay. But set aside
some money too.
Exactly. Set aside money and time. And I think that's, a good tip right there, is set aside and definitely prioritize, especially like you were saying, if this is your dream, this is your goal, this is what you want to do for your future, prioritize it. And it's definitely, Win Publications is definitely high on my priority list. And so I love that I get to do this. I get to be on the phone with you, who you're miles and miles and miles away.
Yeah.
But we get to connect over something that we love and enjoy. And so definitely so grateful. So can you tell me, has there ever been a time when you wanted to quit? And if so, how did you handle it?
Well, I did quit when it happened.
Oh.
I was 2009. I had just finished writing the original copy of Sunday Christians, the book I was explaining when we first began, and I was going to do this in my mind. I was going to do this great book signing. Everybody was going to love me because people knew me. I was a great friend. I was just so awesome in my mind. And I wrote this awesome book that's never, point of view, never been taken, never been written about. It's going to be so great because it's something so different than anything out there. And I was a lady in town, had a restaurant. She offered up her restaurant, offered up her staff. They were so nice, had everything set up. And I was there for like 4 hours, and then 7 people showed up.
Oh.
And I sold 2 books.
Oh.
Yeah, just exactly. So, like, what I played up in my mind, that was going to be so awesome. It was going to be a line out the door. When I showed up, everybody's going to be happy to see me. Yet, no. Yeah. That didn't happen.
Oh.
And I put on a good face, but inside I was crushed. I felt like a failure. I was embarrassed because I'm the type of person, I'm not necessarily a sore loser, but I internalize. And I'm not used to failing because I was raised that just wasn't an option. So for me to fail, or what I believe was a failure, it was a gut punch. And I did. I'm like, I'm not putting myself out there again, and this and that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And so I just delved into nursing. But then, after a while, I thought about, I remembered when I was a kid. I was 11 years old. It was 1984, and I was watching television. And they were talking about Oprah and how well she had done in The Color Purple and what she was going to do next. She was like, well, I'm going to be a daytime talk show host, and I'm going to have the best talk show on TV. And I remember they asked Phil Donahue about what he thought about it, and he laughed and walked off. And I remember his words. He said, yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. Fast forward 10 years, what does Oprah say? Oprah's on. Oprah this, Oprah that. Fast forward 10 more years, now she's got her own channel. Now, and I put myself in that situation, like, when he left, and this was on Entertainment Tonight, so the whole world almost got to see it. Not just the little town where my book signing was, and maybe the 100 people who actually knew me, who and the 7 people who actually cared saw it. She had a whole. Everyone was looking at her and waiting for her to fail. But she got back up and she kept moving forward. And everybody that doubted her has had to eat their words since then.